Hi, I'm Brad. Welcome to my channel. I am trying to get this 1950 Chevy ready for Power Tour 2022. And on this episode, let me show you what I got going on. Got to replace the floorboard and the toe board on this one. Also, this body mount here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out. Bah! And make it all cool and pretty and solid again. Look at that difference. And what you just saw, it was just that easy. Realistic timeline. Like that was nothing at all. Easy work right there. Let's go. All right, got the barn pretty much cleaned up. Pretty good enough so that I'm not tripping over stuff anymore. Tools are organized. I like that a lot. Engine is back out. Got it sitting right over there. Last episode, show, whatever you want to call this, we figured out that the 4L80E is going to fit inside that transmission tunnel without any modification. That's awesome. But I do need to replace, as you saw, this toe board, this floorboard, this mount here. So I'm going to take all that out, and I'm just going to start cutting. Then I'm also going to be able to just start taking out the rockers and doing these rear quarters. Probably not going to show you that because I showed you on that side how I did it. But I will show you the Bondo and the paint process that I'm going to use in order to kind of blend this all in. But for now, let's get to cutting. Cut all this out. All right, so this is pretty much like an onion. You just got to keep peeling it back until you get what you want. So there's a series of spot welds here. One up in here I couldn't get, so I just had to end up cutting that, and then plasma cut, just rough cut all this out. This is pretty rough too. I may have to remake this section here because I think the floorboard only goes up to here. Other than that, I got to keep this structure here because that's pretty much what's holding this together. So I can't cut that out yet. I got to get the toe board in, the floorboard in before I can redo that. But I'm working on this mount piece here, and it was just all welded in. So it's like the mount, and then the floor, and then the piece that ties into the inner rocker that bolts to this frame structure here. Even though it's unbolted right now, it's resting on there. Obviously, I need to maintain this piece here. So I need to cut away all this metal that's just in my way. So again, I can stack the floorboard, and that top brace is one of the last pieces that goes on. But like, yeah, I gotta carefully massage, cut all this out. So right now, I think I'm just gonna take the grinder and go to town and just kind of do this flush, because I can kind of see some spot welds in here, and I'm hoping that once I get close enough down that it'll give me access to these spot welds. I'll be able to spot weld that in and then just pry this piece up away from the car, and then I can grind all this smooth and start laying out where I want the new pieces. Good times had right there. So I got everything cut back, ground flush. So basically we got a clean slate going on. This is just by itself now, but in order to determine where this goes in there, because you see this is a curve and they give you quite a bit extra on this side, I have to match up that curve to here, but also a little bit of an overhang so I can bend it up, because I want to utilize these tacks and I'll just make it stronger, you know, when you put your foot on there. Then once I get that figured out on where this thing wants to sit, I can scribe a line around my rough cuts, fine cut them, and then I'll spot weld it in. I'll put a bunch of holes up in here and stuff like that, and that'll just get spot welded in. And that'll give me a good foundation to work off of from here to move back to the floor pan. Like I said before, the original plan was to leave enough there to bend. That didn't happen. I screwed up like on my second cut or so, and I got way too much out of the bottom here. This piece will actually cover up this section here, so I'm not really worried about it. And if I seam seal the back, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna keep out all of the outside from the inside. I actually cut a slit like right in this groove here because this is on top of the firewall, and then this side is behind it because I wanted to kind of pull this out a little bit more so I could make up that gap. And it's got a nice edge to it that I'm just gonna spot weld to, like overlap weld to. I'm gonna coat all this in weld through primer so it's never gonna rust, plus all the seam seal that I plan on using. And then everything underneath is gonna get truck bed line, so you won't even see it anyway, and it'll be fine because this is a driver. I gotta keep remembering that. Like I'm trying to do like, this took forever. This took a couple hours just to get this in the spot where it needed to be. And that was way too long. I got frustrated and I should have made it simpler, but I wanted it to be right. But yeah, I think now I'm gonna clean up all the areas that need to be welded and then coat them in that weld through primer and pretty much just burn this sucker in for now. And then I'm gonna work on the floor pan piece and then work on redoing this structure here because it is raw and gone. I don't exactly know how I'm gonna handle that yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. Get it all burned in, as good as it's gonna be. Yeah, that ain't going nowhere. So once that gets seam sealed and stuff like that, and this all gets covered in sound deadening, whatever that word is, it'll be good. Nice. Next up though, got to work on getting the floor pan in. I'm going to try not to overthink this. So I'm going to test fit it. I got to basically come up to where these spot welds are here because this is all rust right here. So I might like drill these out, cut it right down the middle because there's a brace right in here. And then just use the brace as kind of like a guide and then a support for that to land on. And then just kind of stitch weld it in between. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So let's tackle that right now. This is taking a very long time, but the floor pan, I got it right there. It actually fits really, really nice inside there. I'm really pleased with it. As you can see, I'm super dirty. This is not easy at all, but end result will definitely justify the time spent, I hope. Yeah, so I'm waiting for that primer, the weld through primer, to dry right now, and then I'm gonna throw it in and then just burn it in. But this is a ibuprofen kind of a night, I think. See, told you. See, I got all clecoed in. I got a nice gap there. Holes where I want to drill spot welds in order to tie it into the braces there, and then obviously tie the two floor pans in. I still got to come up with something for here. This is pretty solid here. I think I'm going to be able to keep that because I want to keep, this transitional piece. But I gotta fill it in with something, so I gotta figure that out later. But this is like right because this has like a stamped edge. It's right on the stamped edge, so I'm just gonna like stitch weld it a couple places here, and then I had to cut this hole out for the one piece to drop on, and then I'm gonna weld that on. Then I'm gonna drill it up from the bottom so I know my bolt hole is exactly center where it needs to be. But yeah, this is looking good. A couple spot welds here, and this will be good to go. So yeah, let's burn this in. Floors! A little bit of seam seal over that. So I ground down the welds fairly flush. But yeah, a little bit of seam seal. Okay, I don't catch any edges. I love that. Got this piece burned in too. Like I said, that's hot still. I'm gonna drill up from the bottom to make sure my bolt hole is exactly where it needs to be, because that is what clamps it to the frame brace to goes to the frame. And then I gotta make that piece yet. Shouldn't be too difficult. I'll probably just make one, just overlap, stitch weld it, seam seal it, whatever. Should be good to go. But yeah, look, floors. So yeah, I'm gonna knock that out. It's gonna be tomorrow for me, but right after I'm done pointing my finger for you. And that's the piece. So I simply just took a piece of scrap. I think it actually came out of this section here, made it fit, and stitch welded it all in. So now we have no holes where we don't want holes. I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this up. I just wanted to maintain, you can kind of see this bead, so I basically made it out of weld again. So I'm just gonna grind some of that smooth. But like I said before, this is all gonna get seam sealed and coated and covered, and you'll never see it. And it's gonna work great. So I got that inspection cover here. I kind of want to get this cleaned up. There was so much crap and stuff on the backside of it. It's like a tar covering. I don't know. I'm just gonna light it on fire until it all falls off for now. So I got that transmission cover all cleaned up. It's in primer for right now, just because I wanted to clean up and take care of that bare metal. Just don't want it to rust or anything like that. And then for the upper cover, instead of cleaning that one up, it just took me less time to make a new one. So I took a piece of scrap that I had lying around and basically cut it off the same shape, drilled a couple holes in it, used some stainless hardware, and that one's good to go right there. Next up though, on that side, you can see on the side there where there's like a panel that goes here for the interior. It needs something to land to. So that I made this piece. It's just a piece of angle. I think this is actually out of the rocker on the driver's side. So I got some spot welds in there. I'm just gonna spot weld that in. And pretty much, I think everything's done for floors and stuff. Oh, and this is the patch. After I cleaned it all up, all the welds and stuff like that. So yeah, as you can see, it's like right on that bead. And then once that inspection cover goes on over top of that, you'll never see it, but you'll never see it anyway, because it's all get covered up by carpet and stuff anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna burn this sucker in, and then I have a massive mess to clean up. There we have it. Solid car again. Inspection cover. It's got it in self-etch primer right now, just to keep it from rusting. Got that piece all burned in. This looks so much better than it did. I'm really excited about it. Yeah! Next up, I'm gonna do my rockers and rear quarters. You already saw me do that on the other side. If not, go check out my other episode. I did it on the other one. But basically the same thing over here, because it's the same amount of rot and crap going on. Yeah. Don't know how much of that I'm going to film. Actually, check this out. Dang it. So that didn't work out as much as I had hoped it would. I thought it'd fix everything. It doesn't. It basically got rid of everything. But I did want to address a few things that I came in, like issues with. This side is a little bit more rot than the other side. As you can see, this panel is pretty much gone. But before I cut it out, I made a template of it, and then I transferred it over into metal. And I basically just took my biggest socket and I used that to radius the edge. This doesn't have to be the prettiest, and honestly, you probably don't even have to do anything with this. All this does is kind of nothing. It just floats here in between the fender and the inside here. But I just want to make it right. That's it would bother me if I didn't, I guess. So I made this piece right now. I still got to bend this end here because I'm just gonna sneak it in, and after that side's bent, it'll tie into the inner rocker there, and then I'll tie it in here, and then it gets tied into the inner fender. So I'm going to finish making this up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And I also had to repair this support here for the inner rocker, or the inner rocker. It was gone, so I made a new piece. Not a big deal. Again, it's metal. Just bend it, cut it, it'll fit, weld it in. And this doesn't have to be the prettiest again, because no one's ever gonna see it. So I'm probably wasting my time. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this up. I'll show you it in a second. Got the inner rocker all burned in. That's that piece I made. That's burned in. Everything I just painted black to keep it from rusting. Lower quarter covered in weld through primer, and I got the lower quarter fitting actually really nice. So I'm gonna throw it up there for the last time and just burn this sucker in. There we go, lower quarter all burned in. Just kind of ground down all my welds. It's gonna go to Bondo, and this is gonna be real nice. Feels good, feels nice and smooth. Cool. So now, yeah, let's knock out this rocker is in. Door is on, fitting real nice. So next up, I'm gonna do a little bit of body work to that, a little bit of skim coat of Bondo, get it in red oxide primer. I still gotta go get that color, and then I can blend the patina. But for now, this is where I'm gonna call it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We got a lot more coming up. We'll see you in the next one.